Good afternoon. As a student, I had a very bumpy ride since my childhood till my engineering. A lot of engineering students are around, so I can correlate and associate a lot of stories with what happens during your engineering life. I'll quickly summarize my journey. It has been a sinusoidal wave, up and down and up and down. In the fourth standard, I stood 13 in my district in the scholarship exams, and my degradation of educational journey started. In the 10th standard, I could barely score around 65%. Pressure started to build up. 12th, I bounced back. I scored 93%. Okay, back on track. Engineering, a year drop. How many of you have experienced year drop in engineering? There are few, good. Or at least KTs. I'm sure there must be few, right? So the point that I'm trying to make here is failure in early stage of my life was very important. It started to give me a kick of thinking something out of the box. After my graduation, I was in the same campus for 2 years, roaming around with a lot of offshore, the off-campus recruitments. I was here in this place as well with thousands of students, waiting in a queue for the Infosys job recruitment drive. I couldn't clear any one of them. Somehow, accidentally, I started with my first job. I had a I had an interesting journey of around 7 to 8 years where I got to work with different scale companies. I was fortunate to travel across the world, work from Australia, work from US, work from Europe, and of course in India, from the company of 30 people to a company of 100,000 employees as well. Somewhere, I was suffocating. I was not sure what was happening. I was still not sure what my aspirations were. I always loved computers. I did my graduation, by the way, in electronics and telecommunication engineering, but I always wanted to do my career in computers. There was a time in 2008, and that was a turning moment of my life. I got to meet my first right mentor, who was not my boss. His name is Daniel MacPherson. He was a technical architect of one of my projects which I was delivering in Europe. I was very excited to see what sort of mentors you can get. He was supposed to be my boss, but he never treated me like one. And that's where the interaction started. First thing happened in a year's time, we became very good friends. I started talking about my frustration about the typical desks, benches, cubicles, bosses, project managers, and delivery heads, and all that stuff. I never liked that sort of hierarchy anywhere in my life. So I started to talk about these things with my friend. And that's where ideas of this happy workplace started to build. I had a question that time. Why is it difficult to have happy workplaces? Why there is a scarcity of happy workplaces? The answer is simple. We, the people, are responsible for what this situation is for. I was always asking about a simple definition of happiness. If I really want to enjoy what I'm doing, what is it which is a uniform or universal definition of happiness? Somewhere I came across the quote of Mahatma Gandhi. He said, happiness is what when you think, you say, and you do are in harmony. It sounds very philosophical, but it's really interesting. If you sit for a while and think about getting your career on that path, you will start thinking about a future steps. You'll start having your plan of action in a while. So what happened with me then was, the first thing to do was to start sharing your ideas. I started talking about having a company where you don't have bosses, you don't have work timings, you don't have work locations, you do have flexibilities. And trust me, everyone I shared my thoughts, everyone I spoke about this with, they started laughing about these things. So you know what? This is not the right thing to think about. So you know what? This is not the scalable solution. I knew that none of these have tried this before. They were all talking from the experience which was outside. None of them have that experience inside. So from a company point of view, I had to think of few very basics. If you want to have a place, a workplace where everyone is happy, what that could be? When you talk about a company, there are three aspects, your people, the employee, the team, your clients, and your vendors. Is it really possible to have a place where each one of them are happy? Clients will always have huge expectations from team. And one of the important hurdles that every company around, most of the companies I would say around, they inherit is they're taking most out of each one of us who is working for that company's dream. And we tend to forget a basic that each one of them are human beings. They're not machines. So what are we doing? Are we really worried about well-being of the same people who are working for your dream? Very few people are doing that. I don't want to say there are not many. There are very good companies, but very few people are doing that. And that's where our journey started. So from a company starting point of view, what things that we learned, lot of things that we built. We built more than 4 to 5 products. We failed in each one of them, you won't believe. There is not a single product which is out there which we built in last 6 years. Every year, the market is pushing us with new technologies coming up, with new ideas coming up, and we are still building the products. But the bottom line was the learnings, which I'm going to mention because a lot of youngsters I see around, and that will definitely help you to think of these sort of startups. First thing was, ask yourself, do you do what you love? And do you love what you do? Second thing, small is the next big. People always tell, Suyog, where do you see your company in 5 years? Would you have 1,000 employees? Honestly, we never had such KPIs. We never thought of having 5 people, 10 people, 1,000 people. No. The only KPI, I will still quickly mention, KPI is a key performance index. So for us, it was always happiness. How would you get there? When you are thinking about having this place, having these products, but can still a small company deliver something big? But today, with 2 decades of technology transformation, you could see a lot of companies who were small and have built amazingly powerful concepts around. So please don't get discouraged. Small is the next big. You can have more happy people because you'll have lesser overhead to take care of, and you can focus on your ideas. Third thing was very important. Don't try and fix every problem in the world on day one. There is no place in the world which is absolutely perfect, having no issues at all. It's very important to choose the right problems and fix those at right time, which gives the fourth indication, that is go agile. You have to do this continuous improvement. You cannot have everything ready on day one. That's what we have been doing. First release, learn, and when I'm talking about release, it's not about only the product, the ideas of your company, the culture, the clients, the vendors, that everyone that you're talking about, whoever is associated, you learn few things, you make them better, you go on. And that's how the journey should be, which will help you to learn quicker, fail quicker, and build quicker again. And the last and the most important point, you have to enjoy the whole journey. If you are financially a very successful company, but if I ask you, tell me one memory which has given you the most satisfaction of your life, do you have that? If you don't have, for me or for us, that is not what we dreamed about, and that's not the success. Those are a few learnings from a business point of view. Now the next point comes up from a people point of view. We always thought of having a sort of model. When you want to build something like this workplace culture, you really have to think a lot. Trust me, it's not easy. It takes a lot of energy. It takes a lot of time. It takes emotions. I have had number of emotional nights talking to my team, talking to them about their aspirations, and thinking about whether I could actually get them what they've been aspiring for. So it's not easy, but it's not impossible. It's a continuous process. You keep on doing things every day, every night. You wake up with some questions. You sleep with some questions. In the dreams, you're thinking about it. You have a lot of nightmares about what Chintan has mentioned about. You keep on thinking about the stuff which may not happen even. So those things are very difficult. But still, we thought of having a sort of model. Think about a company, in future, if a couple of years or a year down the line, you would be joining companies or you would be starting companies. I would rather prefer the second one. But think about a place where you get to decide your salary before going on board. You have cleared all the rounds. And the next step is to decide your salary. Have you heard any companies giving you that sort of opportunity? Don't talk about negotiation. I'm talking about the model which is transparent, absolutely clear. You'll sit down with them. You see, these are the algorithms behind this formula. You put yourself in there and you get your salary. That's interesting. Think about you able to plan your financial progression. I'm talking about these things because these are the aspirations, which are associated with our happiness. There are more aspirations, but we try to focus on each one of these aspirations, and the second one is your financial progression. I'm very proud that today we have built a model which actually let me tell people, they ask me questions, so okay, 3 years down the line, I would like to be here. No? My today's salary is this, and I would like to be here. What I have to do? I can tell them today, do 1, 2, 3 things, and you get there. Trust me, in last 6 years of experience, I have received more than 7,000 profiles in the recruitment drive of my own company. We have filtered around 500 profiles for the final rounds, which generally happens with me. And I have met each one of them personally. I have spent at least an hour and maybe an hour and a half with each one of them to walk them through about this culture, this model, how it happens, what the clients are, what company's financial situation is, where you would progress. And then think about you're making this journey for your people more predictable. Making this survival-specific journey predictable is important. But making the technology-specific journey unpredictable is something that's happening in parallel as well, which is not in your hand. Which eventually helped us to think of the next step, which was very difficult. You have people, you have got a power given to people to decide their salaries, or at least come up with the salaries, what it could be using that model. Plan your financial progressions, plan your mentors. We let people choose their mentors. There is no boss concept. We have only 3 simple designations. Interns, who are fresh graduates, consultant, once you have experience of a couple of years, and the fellow. After doing a great job over the period of few years, you become a most reliable person, most dependable person in the organization. You become a fellow. That's it. And that's where the model comes into picture. The idea was, let people choose their mentors by deciding their aspirations. I want to learn mobile development. Okay, he's the person. I want to learn a web development. Okay, she's the person. But the rights of your reviews, which are going to happen every 6 monthly in the organizations, are decided by you. You decide who is going to review you. You decide who is going to be your mentor. It doesn't stop here. It goes even beyond. You decide your working times. You decide your working location. We have people working from CCD barista anywhere. It doesn't matter where you're working from. What matters is, are you happy with what you're doing? Are your customers happy? Are you able to deliver what is expected from you? If you can, why do you need all these rules? So we thought of getting rid of this rules concept itself. No policies, no rules. Then what it would be? We thought of guidelines. We should be providing guidelines to people which would help them to plan their career within the organization. There are no strict rules. You can start your time. You can decide your start time. You can decide your work location. You can decide your clients. You can decide your technology. But all these things can become predictable if you have spent enough time before going on board with that company. The expectations from both company and candidates is set on day 1 or even before starting your journey. And then the story starts from here. You have to provide a platform where people are vocal about these things. If they have any suggestions, do you provide them any platform to speak it out? Some people are very open. They are very talkative. They don't shy to give feedback direct on your face, which I love. But there are still people in the organization who are very shy, who are worried about their relationship with me or other colleagues. So they still want to give their feedbacks. How would they do that? So we thought of exploring some of the tools which are available in the markets, and we came up with, we chose one tool which we started running every fortnightly. So we started running the surveys every fortnightly where we ask people about their happiness index. We ask about any complaint they have. And then we build a backlog. So the responsibility goes on both sides, on the employer side, on the employee side. You have to chalk down, you have to talk to them, tell them about freedom comes with responsibility. Let them make mistake, let them fail, but support them. Don't treat like, I have had that very weird experience of sitting, a project manager sitting next to me who don't understand the technology. And I'm bloody in the code of, hundreds of thousands of lines with lot of sub projects in that. And he comes to me and tells me, you know what, Suyog, you have to deliver that tomorrow. It's okay, we understand the client pressure, but do you really understand that what that person is doing? So all these small, small things matters a lot when it comes to your happiness factor. And if your model can provide them to drive all these things themselves, that will definitely keep them happy. One of the examples I'll share. Couple of days back, one of my teammates have been working very hard, which I generally hate when I ask my teammates to work on weekend, or I ask them to work late hours, which I really don't like. I got a reply from him saying, you know what, Suyog, I'm doing this because I love to do this and not because I have to. That is what it is. Are you in the area, in the stream, what you love, what your passion is? Choose right people. Give them the right platform and give them the boost to follow the right things. Remind them every now and then, freedom comes with responsibility. Let them make mistakes. Help them understand that they're making mistakes. And then the last part which comes, which is the most difficult part. After being doing all these things for 6 years, we are still facing the issues and challenges of some difficult people taking on board. This is not machine, maybe you can call it a machine learning. You learn it over the period of time that this is what sort of discussions you had, and this person would do maybe something on these lines, but still you may fail. What if that happens? There is an interesting theory of broken window, and we all experience that daily on traffic signals. If one of us break the signal when there is a red signal, rest of the others start falling too. So try and protect those incidences. So give them the platform. Educate your team to work on this. Take proactive actions. There are two outcomes when such scenario happens. Either people will start doing gossip about it, or people will take action. Tell them that it's their place. This place will be happy not because of one person, but because of everyone who is contributing to that happy workplace. Trust me, we have had number of people working with us. Around 100 odd employees have worked in India with us. A lot of people have left. A lot of people are still with us. But as I said, KPI is not about the retention, but it's all about the experience that they have got. I feel very proud when I receive the calls from them, and then when they tell, no matter which part of the world they are, no matter which big companies or small companies they are working with, they still remember the experience and the journey that they had with this place, which they have built, not just me or not just a couple of folks. On that note, I quickly ran a survey last week to understand what actually matters the most to these people. I wanted to ask people about their finances, work, culture, which matters the most for their happiness index. So if you look at the trend, 56% people are happy financially, and 44% people are neutral about it, but 0% people are still unhappy. This is anonymous feedback, by the way, anonymous survey. Work-wise, 62% people are happy, and 35% people are neutral, and 3% people are unhappy, which is still fair enough. I can understand. Technology is changing. People have, and the aspirations keep on changing. But look at the culture and the overall happiness index. The culturally, people are happy 91%. That's a big number. To be very honest, my experience of 5 years tells me it takes a lot of energy and emotions to get to that level of happiness index. And the overall happiness, irrespective of whether they are financially or work-wise happy, it's directly proportional with the cultural happiness. The last part which I would like to quickly show you, the anonymous feedback tool which I talked to you about is called Tiny Pulse. There are more than 500 worldwide companies. They're using this tool, and we were the first one in India to start using this. Since 2013, you can see we have been running this fortnightly survey, and now if you look at the benchmark of the industry, it comes around 7.5, and our company has been always above 8, and that's what top 10% of the companies, 500 companies in the world. I would like to conclude on the note that we really have to think hard and ask ourselves what I want. If you want your surrounding to be happy, take efforts. Don't do gossips, be proactive, Ask your colleague to take care of your culture. And let's wish that we'll have a lot more happy workplaces around with the fact that we have so many entrepreneurs coming up in last half decade. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir.
Thank
A
you
big
very
round of
much.
applause, please. Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you.